Coming up on KOTA Territory News at 5:30, with cold weather around the corner, the Salvation Army holds an event to ensure the kids in need stay warm and safe. Plus, after a tragic death this past Tuesday night, the Pennington County Sheriff's Office reminds the public of how to be safe around sheer cliffs. And we'll have an update on the ongoing government shutdown as we approach the end of its second day. Your news starts now.
From Skyline Drive, this is KOTA Territory News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Jack KOTA. We want to get right out of some breaking news involving a fiery crash here in Pennington County that killed 5 people. The South Dakota Highway Patrol said they were driving on Highway 44 just before midnight Wednesday when they missed a curve 3 miles east of Scenic. Their Honda Pilot ran into a ditch, then slammed into a concrete barrier. Troopers say the SUV burst into flames at that point and all 5 people died at the scene. Right now, there's no information on any of the victims' names or ages. The Highway Patrol plans to release those details after family members have been notified. Well, it turned out to be another hot day around KOTA Territory, but are we getting even hotter to end the week? Meteorologist Ryan Larmew is in the First Alert Weather Center with a first look at the forecast. I know we're cooling down for the weekend, but what is immediately ahead?
Jack, it is warm outside, borderline hot. We're still seeing temperatures nearing 90 in some places. Look at the Rapid City Airport. They're at 89 degrees right this second. We're also in the 80s in many other locations. 81 over in Sheridan, 87 in Phillip, 84 in Buffalo. Downtown Rapid City also in the 80s at 82 degrees, while Piedmont's at 83. We have some cooler spots. Belle Fourche, Bear Lodge, and Nemo all at 77 degrees, while Custer is at 75. We have a First Alert Weather Day, a new First Alert Weather Day that has been issued for tomorrow. Potential record heat and high fire danger in the forecast for our Friday. Gusty winds and low relative humidity values contribute to the fire danger, and a record high of 92 is possible. We are seeing lots of sunshine throughout the day tomorrow, but we're seeing the record-breaking heat in the forecast. But are we exactly going to break those records tomorrow? The high fire danger, who all is under those red flag warnings? And like Jack said, we're cooler by the weekend, but how much do temperatures drop? I'll be planning everything out coming up in just a little bit. Jack?
Thank you, Ryan. It's day 2 of the government shutdown, and it's looking like this is going to extend into next week at the very least. That's according to Senate Majority Leader John Thune, who told CNN there will be another chance to vote on reopening the government tomorrow. But if that fails, he says it's unlikely that lawmakers will stay in town over the weekend. As for today, Thune announced there would be no vote as there are Jewish colleagues observing Yom Kippur. The senator also revealed some lawmakers from across the aisle are saying they're uncomfortable with what's led to this standstill.
A robust majority of American voters are against a government shutdown. Even some Democrat members are raising concerns, with a Democrat House member noting yesterday, and I quote, "This government shutdown is a result of hardball politics driven by the demands far-left groups are making for Democrat Party leaders to put on a show of their opposition to President Trump. The shutdown is hurting Americans and our economy. Normal policy disagreements are no reason to subject our constituents to the continued harm of this shutdown," end quote.
The White House commented on shutdown-related layoffs as well, saying they're imminent and will likely affect thousands of federal workers. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was back in South Dakota today, hosting a naturalization ceremony at Mount Rushmore. KOTA Territory's Blake Trolley was there as dozens of people proudly took the final step to become a U.S. citizen despite the division across our country.
And the naturalization ceremony just wrapped up. 72 people from 34 different countries just took the oath to become American citizens right underneath the Mount Rushmore Memorial. These people were greeted by U.S. Congressman Dusty Johnson, Governor Larry Roden, ultimately Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem. Now, I want to go to a couple of interviews that we did as soon as this event wrapped up. We will start with Governor Larry Roden.
I think I put myself in their shoes to be taking the oath of a United States citizen for the first time, and in front of such a cloud of witnesses like this. Pretty incredible.
And now we'll take some comments we heard from U.S. Congressman Dusty Johnson, who also spoke at this event.
Talk about diversity. Some of these people are tall, some are short, some come from Africa, some come from Europe. There is one thing binding them all together. They love America. And seeing their faces light up when they get a hug from Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, and when the oath is administered and they are declared citizens, this is as happy as you're ever going to see people.
Now, this event brought former Governor and Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem as the keynote speaker. We will go to some of her comments.
I can't wait to see everything that you're going to accomplish. I hope you remember the lessons of our founders, and I think the judge said it so appropriately when she talked about the fact you may know more American history than many of the citizens that are born here.
And we are now standing here with Elizabeth Morales from Guatemala. I understand you've been living here for 9 years.
So it's very nice, and it's been like a long journey, but it's also like such a bless that we had to come over here to the United States.
Okay, and we appreciate you weighing in with us. What an exciting day this must be for you. And again, we heard so many different countries today as people were announcing where they were from after, again, being greeted by quite a few dignitaries that showed up to this event. Again, 72 people from 34 different countries, most of them saying they live right here in South Dakota. We'll send it back to you.
A 26-year-old Kyle man was arrested following a stabbing at Knollwood Heights Apartments on Surfwood Drive in Rapid City yesterday afternoon. Adam Brown is charged with the attempted murder. Police say the victim was stabbed several times and had serious injuries. The stabbing happened around 4:40 in the afternoon Wednesday. Police say when officers arrived on the scene, they saw a man matching the stabbing suspect's description running from the building and quickly detained him. And they say video showed Brown saying he was responsible for the stabbing. Brown is currently being held without bond in the Pennington County Jail. Opening statements were heard today in the trial of Ezekiel Mayweather. He's accused of aiding and abetting first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder in the death of Esther Wolf. Wolf was shot and killed near a gas station on East North Street in February 21st of last year. The other man accused in the case, Arcadius Wright, pleaded guilty on September 24th to first-degree manslaughter in what the Pennington County State's Attorney's Office called a public execution. Opening statements provided possible motives and clarity on Mayweather's alleged involvement. The state claimed that Mayweather blamed Wolf for the suicide of his brother Michael Mayweather, who was dating Wolf at the time of his death in 2019. The state alleged that Mayweather convinced Wright to shoot Wolf, provided the firearm, transportation, and disposal of the murder weapon. The defense's statement focused on the state's plan to call Wright as a witness. The state called several witnesses and entered into evidence comments made by Mayweather on his brother's Facebook page directed towards Wolf. The comments were derogatory in nature and may have been threatening in nature. That trial will continue tomorrow. In light of the accidental death of a young woman in the Falling Rock area Tuesday night, the Pennington County Sheriff's Office is reminding the public on how to stay safe when outdoors in a high elevation area. The Black Hills area is known to have rocky terrain and steep cliffs, which is why a deputy for the Sheriff's Office says a person planning to explore should inform someone of where they're going and try not to go alone. He adds people should not be drinking alcohol excessively in areas in which they may not be familiar with the terrain. According to evidence and witness statements at the scene, the Sheriff's Office says they believe alcohol played a factor in the young woman's death.
Plan had a lot of people come to visit us from out of state, so they're not used to the wide open terrain, the different kind of elevations or cliffs or anything. Some people live in very flat areas, so definitely important to do your research and then even then still prepare.
He says people should also stay hydrated and take breaks. According to the Sheriff's Office, since 2019, there have been 4 accidental falls and 2 deaths in the Falling Rock area. The Salvation Army of the Black Hills hosts their annual Coats for Kids event, providing coats for kids in need to keep warm during our cold South Dakota winters. Established in 1907 in the heart of the Black Hills, the Salvation Army of the Black Hills has been serving the basic needs of individuals and families in the greater Rapid City area for more than 118 years. They're once again hosting Coats for Kids, providing coats for children up to age 18 in the Rapid City and Black Hills communities. Parents or guardians will need to bring a photo ID and proof of each child's age, a school record, or Medicaid card with them to register for coats.
I think receiving these coats is very important. If they don't have to put money towards coats, they have money that they can put toward rent or towards their utility bills or toward food.
The Salvation Army has been providing warm coats for the past 30 years in the Black Hills communities, distributing hundreds of coats each year. If you're in need of a coat, the Salvation Army is still doing the coats for kids tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at their office on North Cherry Avenue. Well, the weather was warm today in KOTA territory, and heat and wildfires look to become problematic in the near future. We'll tell you what you need to know in your accurate First Alert forecast coming up later. But first, a Spearfish woman reflects on her experiences over the past century and then some. That story's next. Many people have experienced significant events such as the COVID-19 pandemic, the 9/11 attacks, the start of the 21st century, and the civil rights movement in the 1950s and 60s. For one lady in Spearfish, she's witnessed more than a century of history, and you could say she is a testament to history. Juliana Alford sits down with the 104-year-old who remembers a century of transformation.
This is Margaret Wilcox, who just turned 104 years old on September 25th.
I feel, the same as I did 20, 30 years ago. I feel good, and I'm just surprised that I'm still here.
Wilcox grew up in a house her father built where they had no running water, roads, or electricity.
And we lived near what was Stoneville. It was just a little farm, but we had animals to take care of.
She would ride her horse to school, which was 5 miles one way in Meade County. Margaret continued her education and received her certificate to be a teacher.
I did teach all 7 of my children in school.
One significant moment in Wilcox's life was when she was a teacher at the start of World War II.
I was teaching school, and we had to register people to be rationed for coffee and sugar, gasoline, and that kind of stuff.
Once World War II ended, Wilcox was married.
56 years. My husband passed away in 2004.
With living for 104 years, Wilcox's advice is to live a simple life.
Don't smoke or drink or use drugs.
She also expressed things she's learned.
I learned that you have to keep going. If things get tough, you keep going. And you do the best you can, always. And I always did pray a lot, and I would recommend pray it when things get tough, and always, always thank God for what you have.
In Spearfish, Juliana Alford, KOTA Territory News.
A First Alert Weather Day is in effect for tomorrow. Meteorologist Ryan Larmew has the details in your accurate First Alert forecast next.
Now, the First Alert forecast with meteorologist Ryan Larmew.
We're still seeing those mostly sunny skies around Rapid City. Temperature still warm in the 80s at 82 right now. Now let's hop right into the forecast. Tonight, temperatures will drop. We'll get to 58 degrees by morning. Mostly clear skies are likely. We're going to likely stay in the 70s until around 10 o'clock and then drop into the 60s and eventually the 50s. First Alert Weather Day has been issued for tomorrow. Let's take a look at the forecast for tomorrow. 92 degrees. We're also breezy. The potential for record heat and the high fire danger, both causing the First Alert Weather Day for our Friday. And with the gusty winds and low relative humidity values, we are talking about the possibility of the fire danger being high. And we do have red flag warnings in effect for lots of areas in KOTA territory. Parts of the South Dakota Plains, parts of the foothills, parts of the southern Black Hills, southwestern South Dakota, and parts of the Wyoming Plains. Places like Gillette, Wright, Newcastle, Hot Springs, Custer, Pine Ridge, Rapid City, Faith, Kadoka, Box Elder, Wall, all included in those red flag warnings. But tomorrow's record high is 91 degrees. That was set in 1922. The forecasted high of 92 would break that. But this got me thinking, how many times exactly have we hit the 90-degree mark in October? We hit 96 one time in 1892, 94 one time there in 2011. But look at this, 92 we hit it twice, 91 3 times, and then 90 on the dot we only hit 3 times. So in total, we've only seen 10 days in October at or above 90 degrees. Tomorrow's forecasted high at 92 would add the 11th day in October. Since 1888 in Rapid City, to hit 90. The hour-by-hour forecast is showing that we're going to see plenty of sunshine throughout the day tomorrow, but things start to change by Saturday. Lots of cloud coverage to wake up to on Saturday, and then rain starts in the afternoon and evening. We're going to see plenty of it, and it could be heavy at times. But we're also tracking the possibility of a little bit of snow here in the Bighorns. There are alerts up for that, but good news is all the rain and snow should be done by Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon. Winter weather alerts in effect. There's a winter storm watch here for the Bighorns. Could be expecting up to 6 to 7 inches of snow in some of the higher elevations, especially on Highway 14 there. We could be seeing over 6 inches there, so if you are planning to travel through the Bighorns this weekend, you might have some travel disruptions due to the wet snowfall that is likely to be falling there. Tonight, temperatures are generally in the 50s, but a few spots stay in the 60s. Pine Ridge, Spearfish, and Sturgis all in the 60s tonight. Rapid City and Walled at the 58, Keystone's at 59, Custer 52 degrees tonight. Mostly clear skies are likely. Tomorrow is our first alert weather day. Many spots in the 90s, including Rapid City at 92 degrees, Walls at 93, Phillip 95, but generally the 80s stay in northeast Wyoming. We're 86 over in Gillette tomorrow, and we do have the potential to break some record highs in parts of Wyoming as temperatures are in the 80s. For Sundance and Newcastle, rain chances increase for the weekend as we see temperatures in the 80s and 90s in and around the Black Hills. The Plains generally in the 90s for tomorrow as we see rain showers and then cooling temperatures by the end of the weekend. Rapid City seeing temperatures in the 50s for Sunday with windy conditions, and then Monday we continue the 50s, but by the middle of next week we start to warm back up slightly above average. We'll be right back with more KOTA Territory news right after the break.
And now, KOTA Territory Sports, sponsored by your local Ford stores.
Happy dinner time, everybody. The Bellefouche girls and boys soccer teams return to the pitch tonight as they host St. Thomas More. The Lady Broncs look to build off a big win as they defeated Douglas New Underwood 2-1 in their last outing. The Bronc boys have also played well of late, knocking off the Patriots and tying Hot Springs. The Black Hills State and South Dakota Mines football teams will renew their rivalry Saturday in Spearfish. The Hard Rockers won a thriller over Fort Lewis 22-21 last week to pick up their first victory of the season. The Yellow Jackets fell to Colorado Mines 36-27 in their last outing. Both teams enter Saturday's matchup with 1-4 records. Now, Black Hills State linebacker Sebastian O'Farrell has been named a finalist for the Campbell Trophy, which is the academic Heisman. O'Farrell has a 4.0 GPA while double majoring in biology and psychology.
I think it's all about leadership, academics plus performance on the field, and obviously the academics and leadership part that comes with just being around and being an example for the guys, and academics is off the field, just how much you put effort into it. And I like to put effort into school. I have big aspirations to become a doctor, so I think that goes along with it. But with the performance part, I really just think going out there and winning games with the guys and keeping everyone as a cohesive unit is going to be more important. And the stats and accolades will come with winning as a team and on our unit as the defense.
After winning its first 3 games of the season, the Sturgis football team has hit a bit of a roadblock, dropping 2 straight to Huron and Aberdeen Central. With a 3-2 record, the Scoopers are still ranked 5th in 11 AA. They will look to get things back on track tomorrow night, but it won't be easy as Sturgis hosts top-ranked Yankton. The Bucks are 4-1 with their only loss coming against the 3rd-ranked team in 11 AAA Harrisburg. Yankton won a tight game over 3rd-ranked Pierre 35-28 last week. Kickoff is at 6 o'clock tomorrow night out at Woodall Field. Local high school volleyball teams are ready to hit the court for some big games this evening. Harding County has racked up an impressive 17-2 record. The Ranchers will host Faith this evening. Hot Springs is also at home tonight to take on Bennett County. The Bison are 13-11 on the season, while the Warriors check in at 5-4. Sturgis and Central girls and boys soccer teams playing tonight. I'll have highlights of that for you at 9 and 10. In the baseball playoffs, Tigers advance. They beat the Guardians at 6-3. In the 8th inning, the Cubs lead the Padres 3-0. Yankees and Red Sox coming up later tonight. That's a look at sports.
A first alert weather day is in effect for tomorrow. The potential for record heat is there, along with the possibility of some high fire danger. Gusty winds and low relative humidity values contribute to the fire danger. The old record of 91 degrees set back in 1922 will likely be broken tomorrow. High temperature forecast set at 92 degrees.
It's crazy.
Yeah, only 10 times happened in October.
All right, see you tonight at 10.
Thanks for watching KOTA Territory News, your local news and weather authority.